just about to get started watching this Tom Tanuki video. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, anyway, I thought it was very good. All right, shall we get going? Is it time? I've given Bagel his snacks, so he'll be distracted for a minute and then need to poop at, like, the most inconvenient moment. So with that in mind, I reckon it's time to get going. Also, let me know how the audio is in terms of, like, relative volume with my voice, but I'll just try and pause if I'm going to speak or anything. Yeah. Anyway, let's roll.
When the 2022 federal election was going on, I saw this Sydney Morning Herald article, and this stuff's...
All right. Rookie error. Just taking anything from an Australian newspaper about with the word meme in it. 2022 election. No.
Really of interest to me because I produce written and video content in the Australian political space. So in that space, Simpsons memes are inescapable. I get sent them all the time. They fill up my comment section. There's massive pages and groups dedicated to this millennial practice of distilling all socio-political developments into the format of a Simpsons meme. So,
just want to draw your attention to that phrase. What was it? The practice of distilling all social and political wisdom or events or whatever into a Simpsons meme. I think that's crucial because it's really the fundamental point that I want to make is that he's kind of right, but also misses the point. Let's keep going.
When I saw this headline, I thought, okay. I grabbed my laptop and I sat down to begin to have a read of it so I could learn a bit more. The 2022 federal election and arguably every Australian political contest since 2014 has been fueled online by references to The Simpsons. Every major protest, including the New South Wales teachers' strike, the Women's March for Justice and the climate strikes, has featured satirical Simpsons posters. The community-led Simpsons Against the Liberals Facebook page is one of the most popular political sites.
So, I think this is like, just to reiterate my point that newspapers don't know what they're talking about memes. There's in the Age, which is the Melbourne version of the Sydney Morning Herald, and they often share articles or whatever, though I have to say I didn't see this one in the published Age. I've been reading it less religiously since the podcast stopped. But, being like, oh, isn't it weird that, every single protest has featured Simpsons posters or whatever? It's like, yeah, but people are doing it because it's a thing. Like, it has its own weight to it. People are like, it's a Simpsons thing, get it? It's like, that's not really that insightful of a remark to be like, people have done it there. So, yeah, they're doing it because
threw my laptop out of the window of my apartment. Why did I do that? I did that because the article was not for me. Because it entertains this idea going around that Simpsons memes are satirical. And that implies...
Sorry, while you're all here, I just wanted to show you this painting that my former housemate did for me. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me very well while this is up. It's a little Simpsons boat painting. I like the one here that's like a realistic drawing of a boat. But anyway, I can't hang it up properly, so, yeah, it's pretty sick.
That they are to be grouped together under a subcategory are satirical. And that implies that they are to be grouped together under a subcategory of humour. And that's not true because they aren't funny at all. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not just saying there's bad jokes in them or that it's not my cup of tea. I'm not criticising you. I am just saying there is no humour in Simpsons memes at all. I've got two things for you, two little pictures. You like that kind of thing, don't you? Little pictures.
I do like little pictures.
Let's see these little pictures of yours one at a time. Okay, so this is a Simpsons meme about the cost of living.
Good luck on your flight.
I'll take you through it. Walk with me. What it does is it makes Father Simpson there. You see it? You see Father...
Now this is going to be a bit that Tom's going to do throughout the rest of the episode, referring to this character as Father Simpson, when of course we all know that it's Bart's dad. It's making fun of people for liking Bart's dad as a character. I get it. He's doing a bit. He's a comedy YouTuber, so, let's go.
Father Simpson. He's the popular father of the
Bart.
titular
Bart's dad.
Simpson family of the Simpsons show. Just to explain
Simpsons
that
show.
to you, Father Simpson, it makes Father Simpson the cost of living, which you can see it does by putting
how
the
we
word
going from
cost
Father
of
Simpson
living
count?
underneath father.
So Tom has identified like labeling meme, like the concept of labeling things in memes so as to indicate what the meme is about, and is making fun of that, or is implying that that's like inherently not funny. And maybe it's not. Like, I mean, Kelly, of course, the classic Onion cartoonist, deliberately overlabels everything to make fun of people like Ben Garrison, who unironically overlabels everything. But on the other hand, you know, if you just like have this image, this still from The Simpsons, that no one knows that you're being like, hey, the cost of living is going up. Still not a joke. I agree with him. It's not a humorous remark. I'm just saying, like, he's deconstructing something that doesn't. I feel like he's, you know, implying a point. Thank you. Yeah. Well, or, you know, on Tom's behalf, thank you. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you know, he's not coming quite out and saying this, because obviously it's an indefensible position to say labeling things is inherently not humorous. But that's kind of what he's trying to say. So let's keep watching.
Now he's running towards the other cunts in the car. Say there's two little cunts here. And the meme draws on a sample frame, doesn't it? From an old Simpson episode. And in the text says he's gaining on us.
Yeah.
Which he's doing because his Father Simpson's running. But here, it ever so gently underscores the idea that the cost of living is catching up on us Australians. How do I know it's catching up? It's not because I'm an economist. No. It's because it's here. It's in the picture.
He has chosen exceedingly bad memes, but also, like, I just think, again, he's trying to get you to be like, oh yeah, wow, how heavy-handed to put a label on saying the cost of living, but it's only, like, there's a minimum level of heavy-handedness that you have to include of information, and, like, I guess you could include instead, like, a graph of the cost of living, or, like, yeah, I mean, that's true. Look, ultimately his point is that it's not funny and it's not really a joke, and I'd say that that's largely true. What it is a moment, or in the Deleuzian term, an intensity that people are like, oh, I relate to that, #mood, and for some reason people express that in haha reacts, or like because they think that, you know, funny internet picture has to be haha time, but like, you can just be like, yeah, I had to pay fucking $6 for a coffee today. That wasn't cool. Anyway.
See, remember, that's not Father Simpson. That's a cost of living. See? Now you see. So that's the Simpson meme joke. Now, this is a Fred Bassett comic strip. Okay, I'll take you through it.
I'm not familiar with Fred Bassett intimately, but I did ages ago at a cafe meet a Bassett who was great. It was like huge. You can't see me gesture, but huge. That's how, you know, and like chunky as heck. You know, like larger than my head easily. Shout out Bassett. Yeah, ears like trailing on the ground. I think he had them like little ties for them, which was cute. And the guy was like, yeah, I moved into an apartment, and I was like, I have a dog, and they asked how tall he was, and I said, you know, 11 inches, which is how, you know, up to the shoulder. And they were like, oh yeah, great. And it's, you know, 90 kilo Bassett that bays at for ultrasonic frequencies and whatever. Yeah, let's keep going. It's not relevant. They're just good.
It depicts Fred Bassett, the Basset Hound, and he is the titular character of the strip. He's having a bit of a cheeky play. I just want to clarify that Fred Bassett is not a Simpson. No! This is different. This isn't a reference to season 49 of The Simpsons. See, so it's not political comedy. So it's just a different thing. Sometimes things are just different things. This is a different comic. Fred Bassett. Try to, you know, keep up with me. So you see the second panel up top. He's chuffed. He's excited because it's nearly Christmas.
I got no problem with him.
Because he says it. He goes, Christmas Day is nearly here.
Yeah.
That's my dog voice. That's my charming dog voice. Panels
good.
3 and 4 in the
should
second
do
row,
that
he's
more. It's
bounding
funny. I
around
like
and
it.
running and leaping in different directions, demonstrating his excitement. And in the final panel comes the big payoff. What does he say? He says, I think I'm getting a little bit overexcited.
Yeah.
Why is he doing that?
So I feel like this is again not it's slightly disingenuous because Tom's implying that this comic strip is equally bad as that Simpsons meme, and I would argue that that's not true. I think that this Fred Bassett cartoon is like drastically worse than that D-grade Simpsons meme. I guess maybe this was, I don't know when this was published. The date there is a little fuzzy in the signature, but like maybe this was published before readily available dog videos on YouTube. And he was like, you know, that's cute when dogs do that little zoomy thing. And it, to be fair, that is cute. But again, is it a joke? Maybe. It definitely sort of has the structure of a joke. Like, something, action, next remark. Like, I can see how you think that that should be a joke, but I'm choosing to interpret this as a moment of delight in dogs being excited, and also maybe expressing the author's enthusiasm for Christmas, I guess, because dogs don't understand the concept of the passage of time.
You've already been told why, mate. Please, stay with me. It's because it's nearly Christmas. That's the joke. First, I want to point out one fundamental similarity between these two little pictures of yours, and then one fundamental difference. The fundamental similarity is that whether you choose to laugh at either of them is completely up to you. Choice is good, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I'm all about
Tom Tanuki
choice,
hates
and I'm
freedom.
very happy.
I think we can all agree. He does hate freedom. And actually, that's something else that, you know, a shadow is haunting Tom's scathing critique of Simpsons memes. The shadow of the Simpsons. Does, and I realize this is sort of a dramatic question to ask, but does Tom Tanuki actually like the Simpsons or not? And again, as he says, that's his choice. It's fine whether you do or not like The Simpsons. That's an acceptable life choice. I used to think people should watch The Simpsons, and honestly, I still think it's like, you know, for the longest running cartoon of all time or whatever, I think it's pretty criminally underrated. The first 10 seasons have some amazing shit. Beautiful family moments, sitcoms, wall-to-wall jokes, especially after like season 4. It's pretty... Well, did he say that he doesn't like The Simpsons? I think he said he doesn't like Simpsons memes, which is a different thing. Did I miss that he says that he doesn't like The Simpsons? Maybe I just like repressed that heavily, but anyway, I feel like regardless, it you know, if you don't find the show funny, of course you're not going to find the memes funny, and that's fine, but like whatever, dude, like come on. Don't take my bionicles away, you know?
Bodily symptom of laughter. But if you did laugh, it's only because you chose to experience the health benefits of laughing.
Philippa Chalis is the founder of Laughter Clubs Victoria.
Here's a tip. If you're having trouble, just fake it till you make it.
It is good for the breathing. I've got emphysema.
It's an essential truth that
it's just a great moment. This is a good video.
Father Simpson in these two little pictures,
but he's doing a joke again. Like you know, this whole thing he's making fun of everyone, so he's saying Father Simpson. But we get it.
Pulling as much weight as Fred Bassett here in the comic sense. In other words, Simpson memes, and I do mean all of them, are only as funny as Fred Bassett comic strips, and that is to say, not at all. So that's a fundamental similarity with your...
I feel like also he's chosen very entry level, well, you know, this one obviously, but like very entry level memes where it's very, you know, superficial. I feel like a big part of Simpsons meme culture is like chasing formulaic absurdity, something like that. Like, you know, panel posting, slice posting, just the general format of like take this one scene and then put this other character from a different scene in there so that they're saying something like makes sense but is different or is the same, but and that's fun. And like I think that what really the purpose of those things is to be like, hey, I really like this show. These were some good moments that I often think about, and it's funny how they kind of go together, huh? Isn't that interesting? And everyone else is like, yeah, I also really like that show. Those are funny moments. I remember them, and I remember laughing at those. And thank you for reminding me of them. And it's clever how you've rearranged them slightly. I don't know. I think that's, 2016 is when Let People Enjoy Things, the Adam Curtis comic. 2016. Come on. It's 6 years, Tom. Catch up. Give me back my Bionicles. It's been long enough. You're the first guest on the show, episode 10. It's very kind. You've been very supportive. But while you were there, you took my Bionicle that I'd brought to Zach's house to record to show you because I thought it might impress you when you showed up. But I kind of would like it back.
Your Bassett and your Simpson. The fundamental difference is Fred Bassett memes are for boomers, aren't they? They are for the boomer demographic. They're comfort food for
soap.
Greg, Harold, Pam, and Jennifer. They're for Murray, Hubert, Sharon, and Susan. Right? They do leave the other generations cold. I know they leave me cold, but the boomers need them to feel happy and warm and familiar and part of something.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
We understand that.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep pointing the wrong way because the video's inverted. But yes, that he just made exactly my point. He's they're not funny. They're to feel warm and included in something. Or
the generation's cold. I know they leave me cold, but the boomers need them to feel happy and warm and familiar and part of something.
Yes.
We understand that, and really we don't begrudge them. They're Fred Bassett, so go on, Pam. Whatever
it sounds
makes
like
you
you
happy.
do, actually.
Dogs are great.
Sounds like he's begrudging. Again, he's skirting around. He said it's fine to do laughy laughs at things, but it sounds like he thinks it's probably not. It's Tom, come on, step up and at least make the accusation.
Right.
Not to mention, I still demand transparency about whether or not he enjoys the source material, because I feel like if he doesn't, that's just fine. It's not my place to say whether someone should like some of the most innovative and, culture-defining TV of history. You don't have to enjoy it. But if you don't think it's weird that other people like things derived from it. That's my
Simpsons memes, on the other hand, are comfort food for
2016.
That's right, millennials. Anyone from the pan-millennial age demographic.
Hey,
that's anyone from 2 to 40. I don't give a fuck.
What the hell, dude?
Whatever. I'm not writing a fucking Guardian opinion column. Anyone from the pan-millennial age demographic, from elder millennial downwards, uses Simpsons memes for the purpose of comfort. So they're like mimetic hot water bottles, aren't they?
Yeah, I love hot water
bottles.
And they
do stir some genetic memory of actual humour traded by the ancestor of the Simpsons millennial in their DNA. But the problem for the Simpsons millennial is that they have not been taught real humour. Okay. Just like Fred Bassett boomers never learned what humour was either. Before we go on, I want to say I don't blame the Simpsons show for this. It's not the show's fault.
Not the show's fault, but he doesn't say that the show is good or funny.
It's actually your fault. I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to be accusatory, but it's because you weren't spending your little Simpson time as a child learning what was not humour in the show. So what you were doing is you were sitting there as a child.
See, again, he sort of implies that there is humour in the show, but doesn't actually specifically say that. He sort of says you didn't learn humour you didn't extract humour from watching it, but
sort of glazing over, going,
are the jokes funny? Because if they are, then I think he sort of has to concede the point that the memes are essentially, as he's said repeatedly, mimetic hot water bottles that let people feel comfort and connection and a little bit of a little remembrance of humor past, which makes perfect sense to me. You know, in high school, me and my buddy, we used to have, we were in roll call together, and people would ask us to tell jokes most mornings, and we would tell jokes. And often I would go home and, like, read a couple of jokes, so I'd, like, be like, oh yeah, I remember that joke. There were jokes that I heard before and probably told before, and maybe had told, like, a month earlier in roll call. Jokes don't have to be fresh the first time to be funny, but I guess I feel like he's implying that that is true. Yeah? Do you get those?
It's 5 p.m. The television's on. I can see a cartoon. They've got yellow skin, so that means it's Laffy time.
Okay, I actually have to admit, that is true of me for a very long time. I didn't really understand what I enjoyed in movies and TV. And I feel like maybe that's true of a lot of people, and music as well. I didn't really realize what I enjoyed in music for a long time. Hey, what up, Hot Jam Donuts? Thanks for coming along. Yeah. Is that a Ukrainian nationalism remark, or just a... No, good funny primary color, haha, time, Laffy time. I just wanted to watch it. I didn't get any of the jokes, and I remember one time I was like, no, let me stay up. I want to watch the late Simpsons. I must have been quite young, though I had a restrictive bedtime. But that's beside the point. I'm not bitter. I have a therapist. It's fine. I was like, no, I have to stay up. I need to watch it because otherwise I won't know what's going on. And they were like, no, they're non-sequential. They're like eternally just in a moment of time. And, like, I don't know. Yeah, totally. Curvy Gamer Wife. It's true. Whatever. I didn't know that. I was just like, it's funny Laffy time. And I think that that's a fair remark. And people should reflect on whether they're really enjoying the media that they're consuming or if it's just reflexive. It's a fair point. I think it's a good show.
It's time for laughs. So now you think anything
that too
has a yellow cartoon man in it is a joke. But it's not. That's not humour.
We used to watch Seinfeld as a family, and I was very young, and I didn't get it, and I laughed at something. It was probably a joke about clitorises or something. I don't remember. And my sister, I think, was like, do you get that joke? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, why is it funny? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, you're just laughing because there was a laugh track. And I think that's true. I was being conditioned to enjoy a show. That's why they put laugh tracks in. Anyway, I think that's relevant. And it's true. Anyway.
And that misunderstanding of yours, that little misunderstanding you found yourself in, that's not Matt Groening's fault, mate.
Groening.
It's the fault of anyone involved in the creation, distribution, and trafficking of these bad pictures. They're the problem. I have a theory that the cultural artifacts of the millennial, the only thing that makes them feel part of something. So, like, if you mock something that some show or something that they like, it feels to them like literally taking something physically from them, specifically like taking their bionicle for them, because
I mean, it's kind of a personal attack. I mean, it's been like 3 years. I would quite like it back.
The millennials working full-time salaries buying bionicles. So, now, before you complain to me about the content of this video, I want you to take a deep breath and just ask yourself, did Tom Tanuki literally take your bionicle away from you? Or are you technically still allowed to enjoy Simpsons memes after you turn this video off?
That is
now,
also
be
true.
Honest with yourself. If you can honestly say you are still technically allowed to enjoy them, then just don't message me. Like, don't talk to me about this video.
I personally hope Tom isn't here, because I wouldn't want to talk to him about this video, given that he specifically asked people not to. Given that I could choose to still enjoy memes, potentially,
and keep consuming.
I will say, though, having someone that you like and respect being like, well, that sucks, does actually, sorry, don't mean to get all serious here. Obviously, there's all very light-hearted, roasting, mutual, laughs are being had, obviously cancelled forever, but but having someone who you like and respect be like, well, this is pretty shitty, totally does. Oh, hey, Ultras, thank you so much for the raid. What up? I'm having an overly serious discussion about Tom's kind of overly serious discussion of Simpsons memes. But it's like, that does actually impact whether or not you enjoy something. A certain friend of mine, who shall remain nameless, used to be very negative about things, have strong opinions about like what good music is, what good movies are, and it was very upsetting. Hey, what up? Thanks for the stream today. I was dropping in and out between my things. It was nice to have you to help me clean up my room, so thank you for coming on the raid. But I'd be like, oh, I really enjoyed, this album, and they'd be like, well, that album sucks. It's very this and that and whatever. And then I'd be like, ugh, that's annoying. Like, I know I'm allowed to enjoy it still, but I'm going to enjoy it less now, knowing that you think it sucks. So anyway, I'll just say I'm allowed to. No one's disputed whether you're allowed to enjoy memes, but I do think that it can actually impact whether or not someone enjoys memes. So anyway, it's worth considering. So that's all. I'm just asking questions. Like, and I want the truth here, Tom. I want you to come clean about this once and for all. Do you actually enjoy the Simpsons TV show? Me personally, and my Bionicle. He made a ransom video personally of my Bionicle, just slipped it smoothly in here. It's fine. It's okay. It's just a cheeky laugh. That's all.
This is a kind of a support group for people who actually know what funny things are, because we need a space for this truth-telling. Your space is the entire internet, actually. Like, so you have your space. I think this is very true, mate. Actually. Your space is every fucking conversation I've ever had with you for 30 years, where you respond to an actual humorous cue by going, oh, I just remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's on a skateboard.
He means Bart's dad. It said Homer, but he means Bart's dad. But he's the one who skateboards. That's true. It's very annoying, and I used to do it all the time, and I'm sorry for that. I want to shout out Robert Evans of Behind the Bastards fame, because he clearly is a big Simpsons fan, and he constantly drops Simpsons references in. Father Simpson. Yes, correct. Bart's dad. You should all listen to, what's it called? I think it's called Round Springfield now. Great podcast where they do like one episode at a time, or at least they used to. Whatever. It used to be called Everything's Coming Up Springfield. Everything's Coming Up Simpsons. Good podcast. Good if you enjoy having fun and laughter, joy, freedom, those sorts of things. Exactly. If you enjoy the recognition of community, human warmth and contact, the laughter of children, trees, any of those, I think it's pretty good. I don't know if I finished my point there. That's fine. Let's keep going.
That's your little space. Just let us have our one little space.
So you can.
This one little video. Please. Thank you. So I should probably see Simpsons Against the Liberals, this big Facebook page, loosely as comrades, at least in some broad church of politics sense, if I'm being generous. You'd reckon many of their sort of centre-left Labour types would probably consider me to be a bit far left, a bit loony left for them. But I like to think we can get together with these centre-lefty types sometimes, and they're obviously...
This is it's a great video. It's very well done. No, but I mean, again, Tom, not brave enough, I'll say. And I know that's a harsh personal remark. Not brave enough to come out and say directly that everyone who likes Simpsons memes is a somewhat conservative, Labour, left kind of mediocre person. It's just clearly not true. But he wants to, guilty by association of the fact that the page got Julia Gillard to pose with an inanimate carbon rod, which I think is pretty funny.
With these centre-lefty types sometimes, and they're obviously popular with their big Facebook page. So, I don't want to be rude about my prospective comrades. I've got to give this stuff a go. So I've taken a look at some of their recent top hits on their page. Okay, here we go. Here's a recent one about Peter Dutton being the leader of the Libs. So, in this one, someone goes, "Oh, you're the leader by default." And he goes, "Ah, default. My two favourite words." And then he dances about saying that a bit. Default. And that's it. That's the end.
See, again, he's basically just described the joke from The Simpsons witheringly. I was gonna say, it's very tastily done. It's impressive. I am definitely a lumpy GIMP user, and respect to the person who spent the time doing that. But yeah, he's just kind of like described the joke, but it's been like, oh, it's not funny. And you can do that with any joke, and that doesn't make it not funny, but it does suggest that he didn't find the original joke funny, which again, totally fine. Please return my Bionicle. But I don't think you then get to be like, well, this reference to this joke is also, is the problem. Because he did say it's not Matt Groening's fault, it's the people who distribute the images. But where's the line, Tom? All text is context, or whatever. Derrida.
Oh,
So, fair play to him. There's something broadly at play here beyond the usual province of Simpsons memes.
Okay, what is it?
And that is, there's a non-functional level of pun.
No, that's not true. It's not a pun. It's not what a pun is.
Or play on word action attempting to happen here.
I feel like puns have to be homonyms. This is just a joke about words. I think it's true that a lot of these, particularly the ones he's chosen, aren't really jokes so much as communication currenting through the language of the relevant Simpsons line. Yeah, I think that's exactly my whole point, which is he's broadly correct about the very specific claim that he makes that the memes that are in the political sphere tend not to be especially funny. They tend to be for people to have some kind of joy and pleasure and sense of connection with community, and reliving the joy of their childhood and other things like that that are, apparently deeply uncool and should be derided in a nearly 26-minute long video, he said, having streamed for 41 minutes already. Let's keep going.
See, Dutton thinks default is two words. Now, that is not funny at all.
So, you just don't think the jokes... Do you think, Tom, is it... I don't know... You've made memes. You demonstrate later that you have made at least one meme, and I've seen other memes that you've participated in. Do you think that people creating the memes write the script? Maybe I'm confused about what point you're making here, but maybe I think you just don't like the show, and that's, again, it's an acceptable life choice technically, but I just feel like that sort of disqualifies you from making the whole point about this video.
But it is approaching a convention of humour. Like, it does allude to this embryonic understanding of what a pun could be.
No, it doesn't. The joke is Homer, not very smart, don't know thing. So things two word but one word. Haha. And again, I'm describing, it's not funny when I say it, but like when Homer is like full of joy being like, haha, two words, woohoo, I get to go to space. That's the other thing, is that he lost this context to the meme. He's in this very precarious position of going to space, and there's one or two guys, the other one's very well qualified, and then now it's him, and that's really unfortunate. And all of that is reflected in the situation of Dutton, who was sort of no one really likes him, but there wasn't anyone else really available to take the job, so that Dutton got the job, so that now it was by default. Like, it's not just the presence of Dutton in this, but then also he's not a good person to do it, because he doesn't know about words. That's the joke. It's not a pun. That's my... Yeah.
if you actually got it. It's like you're an idiot who's just come out into the world and you're thinking,
Frankie,
ooh,
look, I'm going to piss a lot of people off. Anyone who's here because they disagree with Tom is going to be mad, but Frankiac font sucks.
one day I think I've seen a pun. I know something's going on there. And
I
it's
don't
popular.
think you have.
Let me venture off down the road of trying to get it. You know, they've just started
It's not
that. But here we run into a bit of a problem. The only reason there's anything semi-operational in terms of humour here is only because this meme is probably lifting a moment of humour from the actual real Simpsons show, you see. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a moment from season 89 of The Simpsons in which a funny character thinks one word is two words. But, you see, remembering some bit of something is not the same as a joke. This is...
Okay, so I feel like this is a sub-point that Tom spends quite a lot of time on that I'm broadly entirely supportive of, which is a reference to a previous conversation doesn't in and of itself constitute a joke. And I'm sorry for once again turning this into Noon's, mid-weekend therapy session. But one of my heterosexual parents who shan't be named, she used to make all of these references to previous conversations and would sort of like interrupt a conversation almost to be like, this word from a thing that you said 4 days ago or 6 months ago or 10 minutes ago. Tape recorder. Yeah. And then would try and solicit laughter about it. And quite aggressive, like, can't I get a, sympathy laugh? Anyone? Sympathy follows. Smash that sympathy follow, please. Just one? Come on. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, therapy is fine. Thanks, Tom, for providing me the safe space to talk about my bitterness. But it's very annoying and it's not really funny. And I came up with the term reference to a previous conversation, or RPC for short, to be like, that's an RPC. To be like, I'm excused from laughter on the basis that that's not actually a joke. And I think there's a fair point that he's making. But then also if you get, my mum likes, I guess, remembering that other conversation and being like, hey, remember that, nice contact that we had earlier when we were talking about tape recorders or whatever, I guess. I'm like, it's nice. I shouldn't shit on that so much, I guess. There we go. Therapy lesson for the day. Done. Bam. I mean, my anonymous
do you know what I mean?
associate.
Like, it's just you remembering
relative.
stuff. Have you ever had a Simpsons fan in your conversation and then every time anyone begins to like smile or joke or get a bit, laughy or jocular, the Simpsons viewer, they chime in and they get all excited and they go, ooh,
Correct.
It's like that episode in The Simpsons. Remember where
correct.
Homer goes, oh, and then Bart comes along, remember, in his skateboard and goes, oh, have a cow, man. And then Marge, she goes, oh, Homer. Remember? You've been in that boat. Because as soon as they do...
That's exactly the sorts of moments that people constantly are referencing. Hey, remember that time Homer said dough? Not extremely niche phrases that represent crucial moments in interpersonal relationships that have been represented by a sort of immortal cast of sort of anthropic representations of fundamental archetypes of, modern capitalist society or anything. It's just he going skateboard. Brr. No, I think The Simpsons is like commedia dell'arte is kind of my feeling, is that like there's this beautiful malleability to the characters, there's this whole town there, and you can kind of like move them around like chess pieces, and I'm not sure if any of you, I'm sure Tom hasn't, and if he doesn't like Bart on skateboard, probably shouldn't, but like there's that play, Mr. Burns, an electric light play. No worries, thanks. Have a good evening. Mr. Burns, an electric light play. I think that's what it's called, which is written... It's, I think, in 3 or 4 acts, and the first one is set like shortly, a couple days after some kind of nuclear disaster that's a bit vague, and all of these survivors kind of meet up, and they're like finally making camp and like relaxing a little bit, and they're like, haha, something the Simpsons, and then they start trying to remember Cape Fear, which is often considered one of the best episodes in the show. It's pretty good. It's the one with Sideshow Bob, Boat, the Thompsons. Well, it's a good episode. Maybe we can do something there. Can you narrate Tanuki? But then they cut forward 7 years, and suddenly society is slowly rebuilding, and the rake scene, yes, exactly, correct. And these people have started a troupe who travel around and perform episodes of The Simpsons for towns, as the Commedia dell'arte did, and they would trade things like Sorry, I'm just going to spoil this play if you want to like watch or read Mr. Burns' and Electric Light play, don't skip ahead. But they trade batteries for remembered jokes, and then they're like, sorry, we actually already have that one. It's from a different episode, but thanks. And then they perform like ads for products that no longer exist between the scenes. And they talk about, I think there's another troupe that's doing like Sex in the City or Will and Grace or something. And like they've got the episode like pretty close but not quite there, and little bits of it are wrong and whatever. It's pretty cool. And then the third act jumps ahead another like 70 years, I think. And it's very I did like a reading of this, like a table read with a bunch of pals at a library one time. We printed out scripts. It was fun, but the last act was like kind of definitely needed some like stage management, I think. But it's 70 years later, and this has become like a cultural like touchstone religion founding myth kind of thing that's enacted by these like high priests who remember and tell the tale of Mr. Burns, who seems to represent the like destructive force of the nuclear power that like destroyed the world. And I don't know, Sideshow Bob is like his like demiurge minion that like enters the world. I can't remember the specifics, but it's like this big like religious ritual and stuff, but like uses moments from Cape Fear still. But it's about like, I don't know, how the cultural understanding of what the show is changes, and like what constitutes entertainment, and blah 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 blah. Interesting play. I forgot exactly what my point is, but like the Simpsons. That's right. The Simpsons is like Commedia. That's my point. Is that they represent these fairly universal characters that people can relate to at different moments, and sometimes you find yourself looking over your shoulder at the cost of living, which hitherto has been a fat, bald Bart's dad, and now is like a reference to the Terminator. Does Tom Tanuki hate the Terminator? More questions that need to be answered. And suddenly it's $6 for a fucking cappuccino. So, sometimes that's hashtag relatable. It doesn't have to be haha funny laugh time. Anyway, that's fine. Let's go on, Tom.
Do that. Everyone else in the conversation just gets this fucking chill all over their body.
Yeah. Once again, I'm sorry for my crimes against polite conversation.
And this pang of despair because you got to watch all the laughs get murdered
Yeah.
by this Simpsons fan.
It's not great.
Because here's the fundamental problem: the Simpsons fan, they didn't understand that Homer's joke, Father Simpson's joke,
What is it?
was not their joke.
Oh. So when you tell a joke that you've heard somewhere else, it immediately ceases to be funny? I remember actually thinking back on my life, I've never...
Do you come with a car?
Oh, thanks, Cecily
Oh,
Mira.
you.
How deeply
Do you come
cringe
with the car?
Oh, you.
to have a Simpsons moment there. No, thank you for the follow. That's lovely. Like, I don't think ever in my life, to get back to my heavily, sarcastic remark, laughed at the same thing twice. No, at one time I was in drama class and I had to say, the cockpit, what is it? it's a little room at the front of the plane where the pilot sits, but that's not important right now. And I just thought that misunderstanding was so funny. Still not a pun, Tom, really. I mean, that's closer, but it's just in case you're not clear still about puns. I don't think that it is one. I laughed at that so much and I couldn't say it, and I had to go home, and I said it maybe like 300 times that evening. It's a little room at the front of the plane where the pilot sits, but that's not important right now. And then I walked in the next morning and I said it, and everyone was like, hooray, you're not laughing at that same thing, but now you can perform it. But I think in general, laughing at things is nice. So, again, I think, that's my
Simpsons
position.
memes are basically just doing the same thing to your social media timeline, murdering the laughs, and only the Simpsons fan who has a sort of a brain disease is entertained.
I know you have a popular Facebook and YouTube account, Tom, and thus have sort of put yourself in the firing line of many people who like The Simpsons, and but that's kind of like this unfortunate, but like most people can just not be in board posting or whatever, I think.
But here's the good bit.
Which joke? I do recycle
fucking
the jokes.
people
Yeah.
experience the health benefits of laughter to this picture.
Well, Tom, there's an internet phrase, LOL, LOL, which stands for laugh out loud. And normally people write that to indicate some kind of like a positive or like light-hearted emotional reaction to something rather than like a literal ha ha. And I feel like there may be, for most people, that also applies to the ha ha button on Facebook. But I mean, I don't know if all 2.1 thousand of those were ha ha faces.
And they are healthy. God bless them, they are healthy in the body, and we love that, don't we? Okay, number 2. This one is okay. So he's got the guy.
This is so adorable.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I actually don't know what this means. Like it's got something. I know they are thinking about the election in ScoMo. It seems like, but that doesn't mean this means anything. It just shows that they were thinking about something.
I find his joy delightful, and I just wish that he could feel the same about me. That's all I'm asking for, Tom. Do unto others, But again, there's a lot of context here in this classic episode of the Simpsons family TV show. In Hebrew, I'm pretty sure it's Mispacha Simpson, the family Simpson. Simpsons go to Australia, so in that sense it's like particularly relevant, and it's the it's representative of the Australian people booting him because he was booted out. And again, must something have meaning to be funny? Or vice versa. It must be funny to have meaning. Anyway, whatever. You will get this joke. I don't need to explain it to you. But Tom, you not getting the joke, it's funny that you like that so much. You should look at more things you don't understand, I think. It sounds like you get a thing out of it. That's nice.
It seems like this is meaning adjacent, but doesn't actually possess its own meaning. Like, I can't even pretend to know.
No, see, there's an important signifier here. I don't mean to get all Lacanian on it. There's an important signifier missing here, which is booting. It's just a little booting. You've seen the show. He hasn't, clearly. You've.
What it means. I'm not
the word
joking.
Pounding is also pretty funny. But
I'm staring at it, but I just. Yeah, sometimes I get the heebie-jeebies that Simpsons meme enjoyers are all in on like a secret joke where they all get that they're not training any.
It's not secret. It was published on the Simpsons family TV show in like 1998 or something.
The actual human, but they want to trick just me specifically into thinking that I'm just not in on a secret joke. Like, I'm definitely not missing that this is not funny. I get that. I know. You know, don't fucking. But
my
maybe
brother in
I'm
Christ,
missing out
you
that there
laughed
is no
at it.
joke, and they all just have
Yeah.
a collective running
Hey, bud,
gag
what's up?
about their fucking utter humorlessness. And they would go to you.
Look, it's a bit rude to accuse people of humorlessness after spending 25 minutes, and I realize I'm pushing an hour right now, but 25 minutes being like, you shouldn't find that funny. So, I don't know.
You got to see episode 170,000 of The Simpsons. Come on, no source material could bring this to life.
This is to include the relevant clip to dissuade you from sharing it with me in the hope that it can somehow contextualize this meme. It doesn't, because remembering something isn't the same as a lot. Again, sorry, I'll move my face there. It doesn't, because remembering something isn't the same as a laugh. Except if you remember something funny that then makes you laugh, in which case it's sort of at least overlapping.
2.8 thousand people.
Oh, I can't point all the way over there, but heart reacts. I think people there, like the heart reacts, I would interpret those ones at least as being like, yay, ScoMo's no longer the leader of our country. And I think some of those ha-has might, and the thumbs upses might be expressing something similar, rather than like, I produced laughter because I found this to be a fully fledged joke.
People clicked a button to indicate that they felt something about this thing.
Correct.
I'm fucking jealous of them. Hey, like I
super possible that's me.
wish I enjoyed life this much. Like I'd
give it a go, bro.
Have heaps of fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like laughing at blades of grass or just bits of wallpaper.
Chronically depressed.
You know,
but,
like I'd stare at my hands.
whatever
and I'd
helps.
go, I go, it's funny because I've seen it before. Like they do everything would be funny to me, you know?
So
like little bit.
You know, hands aren't jokes. Jokes are jokes. So when you remember a hand and you think, haha, that's kind of weird. When you remember a joke and you go, haha, it makes perfect sense.
Bits of television show. If a rerun
position.
of a show came on, I'd just be crying with laughter because I'd seen it before.
Yeah. No, not because you'd seen it before, but because it contains jokes. Like, I don't know. Has Tom never watched a movie twice? Like, it doesn't have to be a comedy film. It could have been, you know, something from the Saw franchise, one of the Bionicles spin-offs. I think they're called Transformers. You know, just the Big Lebowski is quite a good. Oh, that's a comedy, but A Serious Man. I don't know if he has feelings about Jewish divorces, but any piece of media that he related to in some way. Tom, have you watched it again and just been like, there's nothing here. I saw it one time, and thus all of my feelings that it produced the first time are exhausted? Because I think that is sort of like an implicit like position that your whole argument is resting on. That just seems like not
Also,
true.
then that makes it funny. Like,
fine.
that's something I saw. I'm seeing it again. It's political humour.
Yeah. Sort of conflating.
This one was just after ScoMo was booted.
He said booted. This motherfucker said booted. Sorry, Tom, that's harsh language. There's a meme. I don't know if you know about memes. They're sort of funny pictures on the internet where people put writing on pictures of other things where you sort of know how the people in the picture are related to one another, and they have different sorts of, and then you put other, words on top of them so that you know that there's some other, like some other people in real life or whatever that are also involved in a similar kind of style of relationship. It's a meme. But anyway. It's fine.
I don't know. I get this. It's just a bit of sass talk, really.
Yes, yeah.
You know, you're
It's
allowed.
sass talk. It is, yeah.
You're allowed to do it.
It's not a very good.
This is
It's not great.
my
content.
assessment of the meme is that they're allowed to do it. Yeah, it's saying it's
I would,
not your
again,
job.
largely
but
agree.
instead of just saying it, like having the courage to say it, I had to use a frame from The Simpsons.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people also did posts without The Simpsons. La meme? What the hell is that?
And put it in the bottom bit. So it's just like the thing you wanted to say, but you just put it
Yes.
between Father Simpson and
Correct.
Bartender Simpson there. 5.4 thousand fucking people. I kind of reckon they're just going, we'll click like to encourage them. Everyone who understands
pretty much-
humour is definitely...
It's like, hey, you put a couple of minutes in to express a those are exactly my sentimonies, you know? He didn't... No more, it ain't... It's not a great one, but, like, it's good that Scott Morrison is no longer the leader of the country, so...
with me on this.
Dude, you'll be ashamed to hear this, but there's a Momo place literally like a block and a half from my house that I've never been to. But anyway, it's called Magic Momo.
Why? You know? But there's many Simpson memeites out there, and they're probably a bit resistant watching this. I do find...
Resistant? What? I've just spent well over 60
I've had
minutes
many of these discussions with them
responding
over
to
the years,
this.
and they sometimes tend into like this disbelief. Like they say to me, come on, you know why they're funny. And they send me something, I look at it, and they think I'm just lying to them. And I secretly just, I don't like it so much, or don't think it's my cup of tea, or I'm being difficult just to annoy them. Me? Oh, never. But look, I do want to prove to you that this is not some bias that I have, and that I'm really authentically like this. Like it or not, this is my condition as a man, as a human, as a humour enjoyer. So I'm going to record live and unedited react to this page that I found as, like, I suppose, an accountability measure. It's called 20 Simpsons memes that are too hilarious for words.
I know that this whole thing was specifically designed to irritate the internet. But come on. I mean, listicles.
If anything's going to get me going in the world of hilarious Simpsons...
Ironically, that's just Tom's house. He just lives there, actually. It's not generated. I think it's a coincidence, but...
memes, then it's bound to be in here. Live and direct, we're here for laughs. It is laughy time. I am laughed up. I'm ready to laugh. 19. Lisa is broken hungry. When you broke so you don't have to go to sleep for dinner.
Look, this listicle is obviously, like, bad and should not be a source of Simpsons content, but let's take Tom's attempt in good faith, and what's really hilarious is living without money and food. I bet this person was being like, oh, this is so good, I'm hoping lots of laughs now. I think they were just being like, hey, this is my life at this moment. This is hashtag relatable, to use the internet term.
Yeah. And see, she's got no food on the plate.
Yeah.
Poverty sucks. Next one.
Yeah. Come on, man. You're like so close. You're just missing. You're right. You're wrong. But
at least you tried. He's got the cake there.
But at least you tried,
Okay, so that's a picture from the television show. Everyone's allowed to make pictures. 17, we're all home and looking for a job. So why do you want this job? Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
See, again, seems to just think that the jokes from The Simpsons aren't funny, which, again, I've said it before, it's fine. I just think that should then largely preclude you from trying to arbitrate whether Simpsons derivative material is funny or not. I don't read Wheel of Time memes. So I don't have any fucking clue what's going on, and I don't hate myself. So whatever.
There might not even be from The Simpsons. It might have been just someone just wrote that over there.
But they didn't. I think this, again, I don't know if Tom understands how making memes from content operates.
In order to put that in the meme, because remember, it has to have the yellow cartoon man, to be funny. Smartest kid in 2nd grade, 23 years in a row. Someone's made that in Meme Centre, and they're allowed.
Yep.
What else have we got? God, we paying for all this all ourselves, so thanks for nothing.
Sorry, there's
the
nothing.
Simpsons
There's no commentary here
leaders
because
in
I feel like I've
religious
said
philosophy.
everything.
That's got that out the way. It's got that out the way. Seems legit.
Yep.
People have to write the word seems legit. It's just
Yeah,
like internet parlance to say keep out or enter.
Yeah.
That is
Have you ever done this thing? It's kind of a weird thing, but when you go up to someone and you're like, "Hey, how you going?" That's the end of my question. Have you ever done that? Because, often you're not, literally, asking to, how are you, and then when people reply honestly, it's sort of a violation of the social contract on some level or what, seems legit as just something that it's like hashtag relatable. Or, this is not a good meme, don't get me wrong. It's barely constitutes a meme. It's a screenshot from The Simpsons that someone has agreed with. I also get annoyed with people being like, "Oh, Tumblr laugh tracks are so bad." It's like, just keep enjoying it.
still
Anyway,
from The Simpsons,
just read
and
the
you've
funny bit.
written that underneath it. It actually irritates me more than anything.
Yeah. And reasonably.
Homer's Angel Devil. One snow angel coming up. Oh, why does that always happen? That's a still. That's not a Simpsons, man. It's a still from The Simpsons.
But do you think it's funny? We just need the answers, Tom. Subscribe to my Canadian alt-right news site with your money, so we can get a freedom of information request about whether or not Tom Tanuki actually likes The Simpsons. I mean, it's pretty clear he doesn't. I think that's the conclusion, and should probably therefore not participate. There's this. It's been 70 minutes. It's now time to hit the Zizek alarm. There's this infamous review of Zizek that someone wrote, where he was like, "I read his book. I didn't understand any of it. These were the main points, and they're all bad and wrong." And it's like, buddy, you said you didn't understand it. Just thank you. Yeah, there's the alarm. Yep. It's like, it's fine if you didn't understand it. It's fine to try and get what you want from it, but don't be like, "This is bad and dumb and shitty, and the points that it makes are wrong," or like, "It's not funny," if you don't connect. If you don't know what's going on. I feel like it's, whatever.
I'm just a bit
Yep.
toasty. This is
Again, also just a still.
another irritating one. This is like you cunts that go, "Oh, I'm adulting," when you talk about, that's not. It's just millennial
The
shit.
kids these
Elder
days
millennial
on their phones,
cringe.
on their YouTube.
Stop it. Stop
watching their
talking about how warm bed is.
streamers and their
Grow up.
content creators.
Next one, and I see
Yeah.
people arguing in a
Chuckling.
Facebook post, and it's just
So this is actually, I think that this is sort of incidentally a Simpsons meme. This is actually a popcorn meme, alternative to Michael Jackson or Obama or whatever eating popcorns. Homer eating popcorn. Yeah, this one is definitely technically a meme. It's not very funny, but again, it serves a interpersonal purpose on social media websites such as Facebook, owned by Meta, or Twitter, owned by, I think, Twitter, where you want to get notified about a thing, but you need to leave some kind of interaction there, and so there's a sort of a species or genre of meme, correct, to be like, "I am now present," because you need something to do that, and this does that. It's not funny, but
it's the popcorn meme, but it's him instead of.
yeah.
Is
Come on. So you know about popcorn memes, but do you think all popcorn memes are funny except the ones with Papa Bart as dad? you know that like they're also not funny. This one is. I don't think it's the Simpsons meme issue. I think Tom has just like recently identified that memes in general aren't like the word meme isn't synonymous with joke. Even though I do think a lot of the people who interact with memes, do ha-has, maybe they actually find them funny, or maybe they're just not very clear on their own internal understanding of emotional
Is this the
experiences
best
or whatever.
memes that they've ever done?
It's clearly not. It's clearly not the best
According
memes.
to this site, it is.
Yeah, but-
I've never seen any better than these, put it that way.
Okay, well, that's
What's
a fair
the matter,
critique,
sweetie?
I
Is
guess.
one of your book characters having difficulties? Could just be a quote from The Simpsons. Old man yells at cloud. Yeah, this is one of those things that's become like it's a way of expressing something, you
Yes,
know? It's
correct.
like, oh, you're a whinger. You're an outdated whinger. You put that in replies.
Yeah.
You always see that. Well,
Yeah, but I mean, like, how much more elegant to post this than to say you're an outdated whinger? Like, I guess maybe they're both pretty futile, but like, I feel like the Simpsons meme is better.
there. It's an expression. Yeah.
It's an expression. It's an expression. Oh, look at that gorgeous close-up on Australia's boyfriend, Tom Tanuki. Tanuki's mythical creatures that can fly with the giant helicopter ball sacks. It's pretty good. What was he saying? He was something good.
It's an expression.
It's an expression. When people say like, you're gilding the lily or whatever, no one's like, great reference to the book of Luke or wherever that comes from, Mark, whatever. I don't know. Or whatever. They're just like, I now understand the general point that you're making here. Someone earlier today was telling me about some relationship situation they're having, and I was like, that reminds me of these two memes. And they were like, it is like those two memes. And so we both knew that we had sort of, I had understood their situation and had reflected that. It wasn't a joke, but there were memes present. Seems fine.
Yeah, that's an expression too. Look, it doesn't mean it's funny. Now,
Right.
I say another
I was
one,
just
same
wondering what the
thing.
connection was.
Man, it goes in the trees. It's a bit from the show, and people go,
Yeah.
"Ooh, that you put that in there." The words don't need to be there, but just the picture goes, "Oh, I'm."
I don't think Loss is very funny. I don't strongly support the don't post Loss because it's traumatic or whatever. I feel like it's so deeply abstracted that most people probably aren't honestly triggered about that. But whatever. If you are, I'm not trying to deny that happens or whatever. I just don't. I think it's probably overly cautious for the most part to ban it on that account. But I don't think it's very funny. Or sorry, stillbirths, not abortions. But it's just hey, look at this pattern that I've managed to slip in here when it. That's it. I did this thing. You lost the game or whatever. The game, it's not that funny. It's not that fun. But there was a time when it was. Let people, enjoy things.
Staying out of this.
I feel like I'm
"Ooh,
repeating
that's
myself,
embarrassing for
but
me, so
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
Tom
avoid
really
it."
just had
That expression doesn't have any intrinsic
missed the
humour,
point
it's just
very
that
carefully.
expression. So, kids, you tries your best and you made quite from
Yeah.
The Simpsons. Yeah, save me, Jeebus.
Yeah.
This is naff. This is I've heard this for a long time. I assume this comes from season 648 of The Simpsons.
correct.
Jeebus. This is naff. This is
Yeah.
elder millennial adulting talk. Okay,
This one wasn't
stop it.
that funny at the time, but there was some, Homer's becoming a missionary, so it's sort of it's relevant whether or not he knows the name of the god that he's proselytizing for. Also, funny word is funny. Jeebus is kind, but also I think that's a real name from the Bible. I think there is actually a Jeebus, but anyway, that's fine.
Why don't you see people out in the halls? Christ is watching. No, no, raise that concludes it. 101 round. No, probably just a quote from a show. Having an opinion in 2016. Oh, we're getting a bit anti-woke cancel culture here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. Again, it's a bit of guilt by association here. You know, like, first all Simpsons meme enjoyers were, you know, Labour supporters. Now all Simpsons meme enjoyers are, you know, alt-right grifters. Which reminds me, please donate to my Canadian news show so we can uncover whether or not Tom Tanuki actually knows what a pun is. And if he's seen The Simpsons. Important questions remain to be
Still not
answered.
funny! Do not touch really good advice. We only got 2 more here. This is the second last one. Do not touch really good
They're not good
advice.
meat, you know. They're not memes.
Oh, yeah, because dicks.
See, I think Tom should be roasting this article more than these screenshots. While this might be a kind of complex meme to use on the web, it's so funny and special that we had to add it on this list.
Dicks, so that's intrinsic.
Like, how could you look at a listicle that contains these sentences and hope that it might be in any way remotely funny? This meme, even though highlighting how dumb Homer is and how grumpy Willie is mostly about misunderstandings and how easy it is to get a wrong read on certain situations. Thank you, the internet. Sorry. The meme is the best way to contribute.
Dicks, so
this
that's
is like Dilbert level internet content. I kind of pitch in with the meme because we know by now that it's the best way to contribute. Can you imagine? You'll become an instant hero. What a way to add your voice into a discussion. Who the fuck wrote this? And Tom, you should be, you know, I won't say ashamed. You can live your life however you want, my friend, but this was the source you chose.
Dicks, he's trying to invoke that. And number 1, that's the best Simpsons joke, isn't it? When Father Simpson goes, you know what he does? He has a donut and he goes,
we're nearly there.
What may surprise you is that a couple of years ago, I made the single best bit of cutting Simpsons meme political comedy of all time.
He did do a good job.
Because it tells you everything you'll ever need to know about why all Simpsons memes are very bad. Here it is. Okay, let me take you through this banger. It's a classic moment from The Simpsons. Father Simpson,
Bart's dad.
He's the father of the popular television Simpson Family Simpson. The title of the show, The Family. He's doing a classic Simpson joke. We love it. He's saying, over a donut. That's the joke. In the second frame, Mother Simpson.
Sorry, can I just say I'm excited because he's just about to completely not do his own joke justice, which I think is funny.
She's
that clip that he plays for Marge. That's the
in the second frame, Mother Simpson. She's actually married to father.
That's like the sexy Marge. Oh, homie.
She's the mother of the family of the Simpson that the show is named for on the television. She's there and she says,
Oh, homie.
That is an affection.
See, again, he's using the sexy one, but I think this should be the... I mean, I'm going to do a terrible version of the voice, but it's like, you know, her, like, send, oh, Homer, whatever. You know, again, sorry, it's not great, but, like, that's what it should be, I think. Because he's don't had a donut, and she should be like, oh, homie. But instead she's like, oh, homie.
A pet name that she has for Father Simpson.
Yeah.
You love it. She's her life partner. She's their life partners.
Yes.
She loves him.
Correct.
That's the joke.
Yep.
Now, what I've done is I've crossed out.
Wait, she loves him, that's the joke. But it's not... The joke is that something went wrong with the donut.
The homie bit.
Tom?
Bear with me here. Stay with me. And I've written the words Donald Trump.
Yeah. So, I mean... Are we to take it that this is a pro-Trump meme and that Marge is sexually attracted to Trump after he has mishandled a donut in some way? No, I think this is someone judging Donald Trump for being incompetent in some donut-related way. Tom doesn't even understand his own masterwork-level Simpsons meme.
So now you can see that this Simpson meme is lampooning the former president of the United States.
Lampooning him. But Tom has put an audio clip of Marge being sexually aroused towards former President Donald Trump. I don't think Tom knows what a pun is. I don't think he knows what a meme is. I don't think he knows what the difference between a memory and like the experience of remembering is. No, wait, that one is kind of subtle. I guess it's fair enough not to have a like solid grasp on that one. But you know what I mean. I talked about it for like a fucking hour now. Come on, Tom. You're not even the master of your own Simpsons.
It's hardline political
it's a
comedy.
reference.
Basically, it's satire. And if you don't get it,
See, it is. I mean, he's making fun, but it is actually satire because making fun. But that's a bit of a technical gotcha. I don't think that's a very deep critique of his position.
well, why don't you just go and watch season 436
Thank you. I think
of
I
the
might.
television show
Yeah.
The Simpsons,
Yeah.
and just look at episode 74 from
was a
that
good one.
season, and then you'll be in on the joke.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a moment of blinding rapture,
Yeah.
you'll get it, all of these fucking memes. Then you'll know true humour. Then we can welcome you into the fold, and then you'll be able to understand this kind of cutting.
I used to think everyone should smoke weed, and it was probably pretty annoying. But I kind of got over that. But then, like, if I smoke weed, I don't feel like all of those people should get mad about it. You know, whatever.
Political comedy
Hashtag political
like this.
But I feel like similar things, like, sure, proselytizing about Simpsons viewing is quite annoying. Sorry, Isabel. You know, the other one. But for trying to make you watch The Simpsons. But, you know, you get my point. It's fine. Let people enjoy things. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, Fred Bassett.
If you enjoyed this support group /video, patreon.com/Tom Tanuki. But if you're on my Patreon and you didn't enjoy this video, you have to immediately unsubscribe and send me a rude message to tell me.
Please do subscribe.
Tell me about,
Tom's great. He does a lot of amazing work.
Like someone seems to do after every little video I do lately. Like this person recently did after an
That's all I
article
had
I
to say.
published.
You should
Actually,
follow him.
I posted that I was going to be doing this video for
Nice
my
one,
own
Hill.
entertainment the other day, and on that same day, two people, God bless them,
Here we
you're
go.
under no obligation to continue to contribute.
Here's the
my
base
Patreon.
alert. Pew, 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 pew. Right under that pause screen. It's Solidarity 5 ever.
Transactions to me, but God bless them, two people with conspicuously
God bless, thank you for your
Simpsons profile
service.
pictures both took their Patreon off.
Do you
on
both
that
have
day.
Simpsons
And I
profiles?
think
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's fine. See you guys, no worries. But it is pretty funny.
It's also
So,
funny that
and,
he
and
knows
it does
that
let
you
you know
guys
that I do suffer from my
support
art.
him.
Oh,
But
homie.
Cheers, everyone.
there you go. There you have it. And here you have my embarrassing list of things that YouTube thinks I might like to watch. There you go. That's my unnecessarily detailed review of Tom Tanuki's review of the concept of references. Ow! Someone said it was like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And again, I take the point. It's very annoying when people try to force that to be funny, and I definitely was guilty of that. And, you know, again, all I can do is beg for forgiveness. But I did enjoy very much reciting those things. Something I didn't get into in this whole thing is death drive. Or like the compulsion to repeat, like bilge, Gerald. I think I've been meaning to write an article about death drive and bilge, and the relationship between the two. How it's a great example of this compulsion to repeat. I say 69, you say nice. Yeah. And there's a similar thing with The Simpsons, you know, you're like plugged into this circuit of like, you know this line? I know that line. Exactly. And there's something very satisfying about that. Nice, +1. But nonetheless, you reacted, it's, yeah. No, bilge water is the water at the bottom of a ship. But sorry, I didn't explain that to anyone except the one person who's came up with that concept, and thus obviously it was completely meaningless to everyone else. Bilge, it's the water at the bottom of a ship that keeps it righted, but in this metaphorical sense, it means when you, like, have some bullshit in your brain from a million fucking years ago, like your horoscope for today. Now, you might find it inconceivable, or at the very least a bit unlikely, that the relative position of the planets and the stars might have some special deep significance or exclusive meaning that applies to only you. But let me give you my assurances that these forecasts and predictions are all based on solid scientific documented evidence, so you'd have to be some kind of moron not to realize that every single one of them is absolutely true. It's just in there and will be until the day I die. And it's just sort of in the background of my psyche, keeping the rest of it upright, And I think that what Tom is really saying with this video is that he is not haunted by episodes of The Simpsons. He's not animated through the force of bilge and death drive in order to reproduce these moments, and that's fine. That's okay. But, the rest of us need that shit to stay stable in times of wind. Or what, I don't know about boats. But anyway, there you go. That's it. I'm done. Thank you all for coming along. Thank you for putting up with my completely silly bullshit. Please smash that follow button if you're not already. I will thank you for coming along, Curvy Gamer Wife. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow because I'm off to play fucking Twilight Imperium, which is sick, which is gonna take a long time, but should be dope as heck. Oh, that's right, you can see we play Twilight Imperium. I've got no fucking clue what's going on, so that's gonna be great. But yeah, I will try and stream again sometime soon. Put out some vids sometime soon. Thank you all. Have a lovely time. Au revoir. Don't have a cow, man. Oh shit. I mean, that's long enough to listen to every bonus episode and then some. So, all right. Bye, everybody.